I've been gaming almost as far back as I can remember. It started when I was maybe, I don't know, let's say 5 years old, playing Game Boy, playing a lot of Pokemon on my Game Boy. I have two older cousins who I've already always looked up to a lot, and they started playing Pokemon on Game Boy, so of course I had to do the same. Later, they transferred to PC games, starting with World of Warcraft, and they taught me how to play World of Warcraft. I got into that. Later, we moved on
How
to League of Legends.
how old were
Oh.
you when you started playing World of Warcraft?
Must have been around 8, 9 years old or so.
Wow. Okay.
I was pretty young. I think it was like third grade or something in school. So it was pretty early.
And how old? You said you were about 5 when you started playing Pokemon.
Yeah, that would be my guess. So usually when I would start with these games, I would be very young compared to the general player base, and I wouldn't really know what I was doing. So I would have my cousins helping me learn the game, and like in World of Warcraft, for example, I remember really clearly what happened because they showed me the game, and I don't know how familiar you are with World of Warcraft, but the
Quite a
way
bit.
that the game functions, yeah, is that you create a character, you go around, you do quests, and you gain experience, right? And I didn't really understand how this game worked, so instead of picking up the quests and doing, I guess, what you're supposed to do in the game, I just found some monsters around and I killed them.
Good for
I
you,
just
bro.
walked around killing monsters, and then eventually I couldn't really gain more experience because
They're
these
all great.
monsters were, yeah, they were all great. They were too low level, and I was just kind of stuck there, not knowing what to do because I didn't know quests existed. So I deleted the character, created a new one, and I repeated. That
Damn.
was my experience. I had no clue what I was doing, right? And then eventually later on, one of my cousins came in and he showed me the way. And I feel like in general for me when it comes to gaming, that's like how I got into it. That's how my experience has been, and
Can
even
I
with League of.
can I ask
Sure.
a couple more questions about this? So, what was that like when you discovered that you were kind of doing it wrong? Do you remember when they showed you
Um,
the way?
I don't remember exactly what my reaction to. I guess if anything, I was just impressed, and I was already looking up to my cousins, right? And I was like,
Yeah.
wow, these guys are so smart. They're so good at the game. I remember here with World of Warcraft, I was just making random characters, and then my older cousin appeared on his warlock, on his horse, and with his little imp and his different demons. And I was like, wow, this guy, he looks cool. Like I want to be a warlock too.
Yeah.
And then I created a warlock, and now looking back on World of Warcraft, my oldest character is this warlock that I created back then because my cousin coming to show me how to do quests and all that, right?
Wow. And can you tell me about your cousins?
Yeah, so my cousins are 3 and 6 years older than me,
Okay.
and that obviously means in general, they've always been a bit more experienced when they got into games. They've had a better understanding because I was the young one.
Sure.
Uh, I was younger. I didn't really understand English to begin with. And yeah, in general, I come from a gamer family. Most of my close family, a lot of my family in general, has played
Hmm.
different games. At one point, with World of Warcraft in particular, uh, half of the family, like my mom, dad, sister, my uncle, cousins, it was
Wow.
like a family thing almost, like, and that has always been really exciting. So in general, games have always been a really big part of my life.
So if your parents are playing World of Warcraft, they're just letting you run around, kill boars, delete characters, and make them again? Like they didn't teach you?
Well, no, they got into the game later on.
Oh, okay. I was
So,
like, I was gonna
so,
say, I
so
was like,
they were the type of parents who were, because I was so caught up into the game. I was so excited about this game, right?
Mhm.
So they started playing the game as well to like play with me and learn the game alongside me, and to kind of
Wow.
help me when I was a bit confused and didn't know what was going on.
That actually sounds really rare. I very rarely hear about parents picking up a video game because their kid is interested in it.
It is a bit of a rare thing, and in that sense, I definitely have some pretty cool parents. With Pokemon on Game Boy, it's the same. I mean, my mom learned how to play Pokemon because her little kid had no clue how to proceed on a boss, and I sat there getting so angry, and I just kept dying and dying, and I didn't know how to proceed. And then she would come in and show me like, "Oh, hey, Mass, this is how you do. I just read up on this," and then I could proceed and go further in the game.
So she would see that you were frustrated and would actually go and read about Pokemon and then help you through it?
Yes, that's the level we're speaking of here.
That sounds quite remarkable to me.
Yeah, I've been very lucky in that sense. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, it's interesting because you said you've been playing League of Legends for 4 years and you're 23 years old.
No, so I've played League of Legends professionally for 4 years.
Yeah.
I've played League of Legends. I started playing League of Legends like 10, 11 years ago, but it's 4 years ago that I started like actually playing it professionally.
Yeah, so I think that's interesting because when I think about a 19-year-old pro League of Legends player, we hear about these like people like um who are like, start playing chess, for example, at a really young age. And you have parents that will like encourage them, arguably even force them to play chess, will find tutors for them. There's a lot of like support, right, from the family to support this hobby, which then becomes a profession. And this is the first time I've talked to a lot of pro gamers, worked with a lot of pro gamers. I mean, most of them have a pretty common story, which is that they had some problems actually growing up and things were hard in some way. And it seems like your parents were actually like quite supportive of your gaming, which is not very common.
Definitely. There was periods where they were not fully supportive of it because they thought
Sure.
it was a bit too much. And I remember there was a period as well when I was, I don't know, let's say in fourth, fifth grade, where I had they thought I was playing way too much World of Warcraft. So eventually I had one day a week where I was not allowed to play video games at all. And then the other days I could, it was a bit more free, but there's one day I wasn't allowed to touch my PC, and I could go outside and play football or read a book or whatever it may be.
And how did you do you remember how you felt or how you reacted or what that conversation was like where they said no games for
I,
one day?
well, I wasn't too happy about it, at least initially, but to be fair, I felt like it was kind of fair, because I had so much freedom in general compared to a lot of my friends, and especially now, hearing a lot of other people's stories, I can easily see that I did have a lot of freedom, and my parents were really supportive. And while sometimes I thought it was a bit boring, not being able to sit at the PC, I think it was a good opportunity as well to just do other things and have other interests, especially because they were so nice, even letting me, like at the start of the week, I could be like, uh, this week I'm not going to play on Wednesday, or then the next week I would be like, I'm not going to play on Friday, and I could even choose myself, right? And then I could just pick whichever day, and then I could make plans with a friend to go play football, or I could do
Interesting.
do whatever, do a lot of homework, whatever it may be, right?
So
So I could plan a bit around it.
if I'm kind of filling in the gaps a little bit, Broxah, what I'm hearing is that actually because your parents were so supportive, you seem to be more okay with their restrictions.
Yes, I think that is fair to say,
Can you tell me about your parents?
yeah. So, um, yeah, so my parents, uh, well, my mom is an accountant. My dad is what's it called in English? Like a train conductor, I believe. Those people that control the trains, check
Hmm.
people's tickets, all that kind of stuff, make sure everything is functioning. And I don't come from, I feel like I come from a pretty average family in the sense that we were not poor, but we were not rich either. So growing up, I had everything I needed. I never had the feeling that, I was missing out on something, or if I wanted something, then I would usually have it. But we were not the family to go on expensive holidays or whatever either. My parents were kind of prioritizing time, with me and my sister rather than, just constantly working. And in that sense, growing up, I've always, I guess, appreciated family time, appreciated, spending time with the people around me, because while them being home a little bit more than perhaps some other parents meant that we didn't have a big load of money. We had a lot
Mm.
of great moments and opportunities to spend time together, right?
Yeah, it sounds like they really prioritize time with you
Yeah, definitely.
and supporting you. And it sounds like you have a sister.
Yeah, I have two siblings actually. So I grew up with my sister. My little sister was 3 years younger than me, and I have a little brother who is 15 years younger than me, who I'm slowly turning into a little gamer. He's already starting to talk about Fortnite and doing his Fortnite dances and all that good stuff.
Oh
So
wow.
soon enough we'll get him on the League of Legends hype train, but for now it's Fortnite and Minecraft focused.
Yeah, it's interesting. I have a 5-year-old and 3-year-old, and I tried to teach my I tried to teach my 5-year-old how to play games because I'm a pretty big gamer. She seemed to be relatively uninterested, and like I tried to teach her like Mario Kart and stuff because like I
Yeah.
had the wheel, and so I was thinking, oh, she's gonna have the wheel, and her brain is new, so it can learn how to do things quickly. She just is not that interested. As it turns out, my 3-year-old, so when they're pretend playing, it seems like my 3-year-old is one of us
Oh.
because so my older one pretends to be like a queen and a princess and has like teacups and things like that, and the younger one is the most recent character she was pretending to be was a dragon that was dual wielding a sword and a knife. And so I
Okay.
was very surprised because I've never showed her dual wielding, which I was really surprised but she was like, "Yeah, I have a dagger in one hand and I have a knife in the other." And
All right.
so the older one is queen of the queen of whatever kingdom, and then the younger one says, "I'm queen of the demons." And so
Okay.
it's bizarre, but maybe she's one of us.
It's
Um,
it certainly would appear so.